Hi, Professor. Hi, audience. My name is Rukaya Musa, and this week is my last speech for the semester. And it's about Monroe's persuasive speech. And in that, I chose the topic preventing gun violence in the United States, um, saving lives while protecting responsible gun ownership. So let's think about it this way. Think about going to school, a music performance, or just walking around your neighborhood without worrying about gun violence. Unfortunately, this situation has become real for many Americans, right? As the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that over 48,000 Americans die from firearms injuries annually in the United States. What is worse is like over 400,000 Americans lost their lives because of gun violence in the last 10 years. But behind every statistic number is a child, a person, a parent, a friend, a neighbor. Victims' family grieve, communities get impacted, and many survivors deal with numerous problems and sufferings. But on the other hand, many Americans responsibly own guns for hunting, recreational purposes, and self defense. But it is important that we understand that the aim is not to take away those rights, but to look for the ways to reduce gun violence. I will now try to convince you that communities can become like safer if we report such measures as universal background checks, responsible gun storage, community violence, prevention initiatives, and mental health services. I mean, the problem is gun violence represents one of the main issues related to public safety in the United States. It impacts not only schools, but also neighbors, workplaces, public areas. Every shooting results in a long lasting consequences for victims and their families, communities, even survivors of such incidents. Not only do they lose relatives and friends, but also deal with their traumatic experiences like suffering and billions of dollars spent on emergency and medical services. Um, there are other reasons why gun violence becomes possible. Among them are such factors that as the ability of people to access illegally firearms, unsafe gun storage, gun violence in the communities, and lack of mental health services. Due to the variety of reasons causing gun violence, we need to come up with many solutions to solve these problems. And one of the solutions that I chose was universal background checks. I believe the first measure is to promote universal background checks for the face of guns, right? We need to conduct background checks, help to prevent the sale of firearms to those individuals who cannot legally possess them or who are not supposed to legally own these stuff. At the same time, I believe the universal background check system should be able to provide a possibility to avoid interference with the rights of gun owners and the rights of law-abiding people to purchase firearms. The second solution I chose was safe firearm storage. Um, safe firearm storage is to support responsible gun storage, right? All firearms should be kept in a safe or a locked box. When it is possible, I believe ammunition needs to be kept separately from the firearms. That's like safe gun storage helps to avoid accidental shootings among children and prevent stolen firearms from being involved in violent acts. Responsibility requires taking simple measures to protect the family members and the communities. And my third and last solution would be the investing in prevention, which is various youth mentoring programs, community violence intervention initiatives, and mental health services should be able to help reduce violence in advance. With the help of these programs, communities will get strengthened and support in order to make better choices. I believe my call to action is that every one of us is responsible for helping to reduce gun violence. It is necessary to inform ourselves about evidence-based solutions to gun violence, to support responsible firearm ownership, to participate in community violence prevention programs, and to communicate with elected officials in regard to gun policy improvement. To sum it up, gun violence is a complex issue, but it can be solved through the expansion of universal background checks, promotion of safe gun storage, investments in community violence, prevention and provision of mental health services, right? We can reduce firearms deaths and respect rights of responsible gun owners. I mean, safer communities require collaboration and education of all parties involved. If we work together and promote such solutions, we will save lives and we will create a safer future for the generation. And thank you for listening to my presentation. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Professor.